The sudden vacancy on the Supreme Court is reshaping the upcoming presidential election just as many Americans begin to cast their ballots by mail. In the last few months, the contest is largely focused on the president's handling of the coronavirus, but following Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death on Friday, new weight has been added to this election. So let's bring in CBS News campaign reporter Bo Erickson for more. Bo, good to see you. So how has the campaign responded to Justice Ginsburg's death in the past few days?
Hey, Vlad, Joe Biden has responded twice himself since this sad news on a Friday night. Once on Friday night, about an hour after we learned of Justice Ginsburg's passing, and then yesterday in a pretty scorching speech that he laid out at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. But throughout both of these responses, Joe Biden has taken this very somber tone. He has so much adoration for Justice Ginsburg, like a lot of people in this country. But what is interesting to remember is that Joe Biden has been a part of her rise to the high court. He started 27 years ago leading the confirmation hearing that she had to go to the Supreme Court. And when I was looking at through the research this week that I've already done, I saw that at the beginning of the confirmation hearing, and this is July 21st, 1993, he said that you have already helped to change the meaning of equality in our nation, and said that she already then in 1993 secured her place in history. And so we wanted to honor her specifically, and her and her family, and because he knows that kind of grief that they're going through. And then shortly after that, his remarks started to turn more political. Yesterday, he started warning of a constitutional crisis if Republicans do nominate and have a vote on a potential next Supreme Court justice before the election. As you noted, he said that people all across the country are already voting in some of these early states, and so therefore, he says, the confirmation should wait until a new president is elected.
Biden also indicated yesterday that he will not be releasing a list of possible Supreme Court nominees, despite pressure to do so. Is that a mistake?
I don't know if it's a mistake, but liberal court watchers like at Demand Justice and Indivisible Project have actually been asking Joe Biden to do this since he became the presumptive nominee in the spring. I wrote a story in April about how both voters and people watching the court and the dynamics there were saying that he should run on protecting the legacy of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Now that she is gone, this big question came up on whether if he was going to release this list of potential justices that he has in his mind, like President Trump has done. But yesterday, he completely poured cold water on a potential list, and he laid out 3 reasons why. And just real quickly, it is he believes that this list that he puts out could influence a judge's decision-making between now and whenever a potential confirmation ballot could happen. The second reason is that he thinks that any woman that he would have on this list is they would be subject to unrelenting political attacks, and they wouldn't be able to defend themselves. And third, Joe Biden says that if he ever gets to choose to nominate someone to the Supreme Court, he wants to have the advisement and consent from a bipartisan Congress, which is good to note in theory. So the only actual determination he's making right now is that if he were to be elected president and he could nominate someone to the Supreme Court, he would nominate the first black Supreme Court justice, first black woman Supreme Court justice, excuse me.
Bo, as you know, Democratic online fundraising site ActBlue says more than $91 million were from Friday, 8 p.m. Friday, after the news of Justice Ginsburg's death broke, through the end of Saturday. So galvanizing, clearly, the Democratic Party. Is it translating to movement behind the Biden campaign?
We don't know exactly where this money went. We know it went to Democrats at large throughout the country. There is a push to send this money to the Democratic Senate candidates that are facing some of these incumbent Republicans right now. But the Biden-Harris campaign are obviously hoping a good chunk of this money went into their coffers. This whole nomination battle now is a very big moment in the campaign, which is crazy to say because we've already gone through an impeachment hearing during this campaign as well, but this is almost right up there from the Democrats that I'm speaking with. There is recognition already that representation and who is on the court is important to Joe Biden, because before this, he was already running Spanish language ads featuring Sonia Sotomayor, because he talks about how he helped get her through the nomination process under the Obama administration. So there is some recognition there, but then there is also some hesitancy from Democrats around the Joe Biden campaign and inside the Joe Biden campaign that this cannot become the sole focus of the Biden-Harris campaign. They point to the president's previous comments on troops and also his handling of the pandemic. And third, they're trying to kind of make it meet in the middle a little bit by focusing on healthcare, because there is going to be that big healthcare case with Obamacare in November. And so they're trying to talk about courts and also issues as well.
And there are growing calls from liberal groups for Biden to consider adding seats to the Supreme Court if he wins the White House. Has the former vice president responded to this idea in the past, and does the campaign have any plans to address this now?
Yes, Joe Biden has a lot of contempt for the idea of adding court seats to the high court. It is called court packing by some, but this idea is not a new idea. It has happened several times throughout our country. But Joe Biden has always said, I found just several examples just in my quick research and following him throughout the campaign trail. He's just really said that he does not think adding court seats is the appropriate way to go about this. And when we're talking about this whole idea of how Joe Biden is responding to this empty court seat now, is that we have to remember that Joe Biden has a ton of experience by going through nomination processes for the Supreme Court. He oversaw 6 confirmation hearings as the head of the Judiciary chairman. And as I know you like history, Vlad, he's been going through the Supreme Court confirmation process since 1975, when he took his first vote to confirm Justice John Paul Stevens to the High Court.
Yes, good reminder that this is not his first rodeo, although it does strike me, Bo, that it is interesting that he is against expanding the court, given that Chuck Schumer made the case over the weekend that all options are off the table should the Republicans try to push this nominee before the election or close, or even in the lame duck session. So it'll be interesting to see if Biden is elected president, how he responds to what is certainly to be a brewing battle for months and perhaps years to come.
Yeah, don't hold your breath, though, Democrats. The Biden campaign is broadcasting that they are in conversation with the top of Democratic congressional leadership, but I really don't think we will see any idea of expanding the court, even if Joe Biden is elected. And if we do, it would be a complete reversal from everything he has said previous to this moment.
Good reporting there. Bo, it's so great to talk to you as always, my friend. We appreciate it. Thank you for your reporting.
Thank you.
For more on the battle over the Supreme Court and other political news, you can stream Red and Blue right here on CBSN. Elaine Keano brings you the latest from Washington and the campaign trail every Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern.